So when now we have idea about my satisfaction level, we have idea about that how much we can get the different bundles, the different combinations of x and y to give me an amount of satisfaction or to keep me in the equal level of satisfaction. Now this is my demand. I can ask for thousands of apples and thousands of oranges. Can I get that? Because economics look at both the supply side, the demand side, and also in terms of constraints, resource constraints. So even if I have enormous demand, my resource is limited. When I talk about my limited resources, here when I go to market, my resource is my budget. Yeah, how much I would like to pay to get these two commodities. Therefore, my constraint here is my budget constraint, which determines that which will be my most preferred or which will give me the most efficient satisfaction or optimal satisfaction, or which will be my most preferred bundle. Let us see how budget line pitches in. I have my indifference curves. I will draw 1, 2. There are plenty of indifference curves, isn't it? There are plenty of indifference curves on a plane, and when I am getting x and y, now my budget line can be given as I can say my income or my budget is px into x plus py into y. Yeah. Now, what is px? Px is price of x, commodity x, and py is price of commodity y. Px is price of commodity x and py is price of commodity y, and x and y shows you that how many of commodity x and y you will get. Right? Now, let's take an example that I have got 100 rupees with me. This is my budget, my income is 100 rupees. I know the price of now this x and apple, this can be my apple and orange. Yeah, the price of an apple is rupees 10. Price of an apple is rupees 10. Price of an orange is rupees 5. We don't get in rupees 5, but still, for an example, rupees 5. And how do I determine my budget line? With this 100 rupees, if I get only apples, how many apples can I get? So, if I can plot my I equals now PA into apple plus PO into orange, I can say I is 100, I am not getting orange, orange is 0, I am not getting orange, orange is 0, so I am only having now price of apple is 10 rupees, I am getting only apple, so the number of apples I will get is 100 by 10, that is 10 units. Fine. Similarly, if I am getting only orange, then how many orange can I get with the given budget line? Similarly, 100 into price of apple into number of apples plus price of orange into number of orange, and here apple is 0, number of apple is 0 because I am not getting apple at all, I am getting only orange. So the how many orange I can get. So with this 100 rupees budget and 5 rupees per orange price, I can get total 100 by 5, 20 units of orange, right? So if this is my 10 and this is my 20, I can draw a budget line something like that. This is 10 and this is 20 and this is 10. I have a budget line which is like this, or maybe I will just change the color here. Yeah, so my number of apple is over here, over here is 10 and over here is 20. That's what I get, and these are my intersects on the x-axis on y-axis, which primarily gives. So here this is 0, 10, that means I am getting only apple. Here this is 10, 0, I am getting only apples, and this is 0, 20, I am getting only orange. I get my budget line. My optimal choice will be on that point where my budget line is tangential to a particular indifference curve. Yes, why so? Now, indifference curve 2 and this is indifference curve 1. I can also be on indifference curve 1 and I can also be here with my given budget. This is my budget line. So all these points on this budget line, all the points on this budget line will, like how many you get of apples and oranges, together you are spending 100. Whatever you get, the combinations of apples and oranges, over here on this budget line you are paying 100 rupees. And whatever you are on here, your satisfaction is similar. If you are here, your satisfaction is lower, but in all the points on this line, your satisfaction level is same, even if it's lower than IC2. So you can get this combination, you can get this combination. That means over on these points, your satisfaction level, say IC1 is 10, IC2 is 20, and your satisfaction level is 10, you are exhausting all your income, 100 rupees, or all your budget, whatever you have in your purse, right, that on that time. At the same time, you want higher satisfaction, you want a combination which gives you higher satisfaction. So with this, when you have a budget constraint, you are utilizing your entire budget, but your objective, you have got few of oranges, few of apples, but your satisfaction level together is on a suboptimal level, which is lower than what you could get on IC2, because on IC2 also you have exhausted your entire budget, but you are on the same or on the higher indifference curve, not on the same indifference curve. You are getting more of apples and more of oranges than on any point of IC1, and that is how more is better, and you are on a higher satisfaction level, but utilizing that same 100 rupees. You could probably again be on this particular line, which is between IC1 and IC2. You could probably gain higher satisfaction level as compared to IC1 on this dotted indifference curve, but again not the optimal. The optimal one, which is the most sought for, the most preferred one, will be the one which is tangential to your indifference curve, only on that point. That means, and you cannot go anywhere above, because if you move above on any indifference curve, you have to take loan, you don't have money, you have to borrow, or you know, and that is not the economic one, at least theoretically, maybe practically, not theoretically. So whatever I have right now paying that, I can get maximum this much, I mean this much satisfaction. Yeah, and hence this will be my number of, say, if this is 5 and this is 10, should be my number of most preferred bundle. Yeah, so again you can see with this 5 and 10, probably I can multiply 5 of apple with rupees 10 and 10 of oranges with rupees 5, add them up, this is 50 I have paid for apple, 50 I have paid for oranges, and my satisfaction level, and I have paid total 100 rupees, and my satisfaction level takes me to the highest indifference curve. So this is how we estimate, we try to understand what is the most efficient choice of two commodities, or the combination between of two commodities among all the commodities given my budget constraint. And a slope of a budget line, will be given as Px by Py, the price of x and price of y, and it is of course negative because it is downward sloping, but in an absolute form it's Px by Py. Yeah, there is the slope, and it eventually shows you, and on that point, on this point where the budget line and the indifference curve are tangential to each other, it shows that the budget line, the slope of the budget line Px by Py is actually equal to slope of the, on that line, you know, the where the budget line is tangent to an indifference curve. On that point your slope of budget line is equals to the slope of indifference curve. Yeah, so your slope of indifference curve, so your slope of budget line is Px by Py, where is your slope of indifference curve is basically the marginal rate of substitution, or you can also call it marginal utility of x by marginal utility of y. Yeah, that is the marginal rate of substitution, that how much satisfaction you are gaining, and it comes from the how much sacrifices you are making to get one additional unit of x. That is the marginal rate of substitution, right? So, or you can say marginal rate of substitution, and on that point you will get your efficient or optimal or most efficient or optimal mix of two commodities. Given the budget constraint. Yes. The next one, we will try to see that if the price of one commodity changes, what happens? Too many budget line indifference curves, right? Let us say I have a budget line where I was primarily over here. This was my budget line. I can call it budget line 1. This is x and y, and this is my IC1, this is my IC2. I can remove others, in fact, to make it clean. Yeah, IC2, and this is my IC3. Now suddenly what happened? Now the slope of this budget line is Px by Py, right? The slope of this budget line is Px by Py. Now what happens is the price of X goes down. So if I go back to the equation of budget line Pxx plus Pyy. So keeping the income same, if the price of X goes down, Px prime, when Px prime is lesser than Px, when the price of X goes down, then I can have higher, with this price of Y remaining same, I can have higher amount of X, isn't it? For an example, if I was having, say, with 10 rupees of X and 5 rupees of Y, I was basically having 10 of X and 20 of Y. Now suddenly what happens? The price of X goes down to 5. Now in this new scenario, now I can have 5 of X and 5 into Y. I can have 20 of X and 20 of Y. So with the decline in price, my consumption of X is increasing. With the decline in price, the consumption of X over here, it's increasing. So if my consumption of X is increasing, that means I can take more of X at the same, more of X. So if I was on X1 here, now I am having X2 with the same amount of Y, because this is given with in terms of this one Y1, this Y1 is given in terms of I divided by price of Y. X1 is given, this is BL2, this is budget line 2. This is budget line 2. It doesn't extend, yeah, it's just to show. So this X2 is actually I divided by Px prime, and this X1 is basically I divided by Px, right? That's how I get so Px, I by Px, Px prime is 20 and I by Px is 10. And when it moves from 10 to 20, it moves from here to here. And the price of Y remaining same, the number of Y, so I by Py, I 100 by 5 is 20. It has remained constant in 20. So when price decreases, my consumption increases and the budget line shifts outwards. So I can move towards a higher satisfaction level pertaining to my higher consumption of a particular commodity, keeping the other commodity same. So more is better. Again, if my price increases, then my budget line will shift inside and I will move towards a lower indifference curve. So with the change in the budget line, with the change in the slope pertaining to the change in the price, if price increases, my indifference curve, I move to the higher indifference curve because my budget line shifts outwards. If my price increases, I cannot afford that many, my budget line comes inside towards and making a tangent to a lower indifference curve, which is my new optimal condition. So here we stop our consumer behavior session. Next we talk about supply and demand and the market mechanism. Thank you very much.